One day, I just wanted fries. That's all. Fries. Maybe a little sweet and sour, maybe a Sprite, only if I was feeling wild, because I don't drink soda, but it sounded great. I walked up, and something was off. It felt like McDonald's, it looked like McDonald's, but not real McDonald's. Then I walked in, and something was even more off. No one was there. No customers, no chatter, just some employees standing there. No, not even a figure. Plastic, glossy. They were smiling. Maybe they weren't. They were too still. I tried to order. They didn't move. I said hi. They didn't respond. Just kept staring past me like she was programmed to acknowledge someone, just not me. I looked around, empty chairs, eerie feeling, empty, just empty. There was music playing, but not real music. Just like a single piano note stretched out and looping like it was struggling to remember the next key. So, nothing. I backed away. I walked away. Not really that slow, and I didn't turn my back until I was outside. Now I'm here. No fries, no Sprite, just questions. And the feeling that maybe McDonald's just wasn't for me, because I don't eat it, so. What's up, everyone? My name is Desiree Lacap, aka Lacapture. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here, welcome back. Y'all, we are growing and growing, and we are almost at 100,000 of y'all, and I will forever be grateful for each and every one of you. Okay, so I had fun with this one because this idea actually just came about randomly when I was shortlisting for a short film I'm DPing, and then I thought, well, what if we try to break the norm of how things should actually be shot? You know, especially with shows or movies nowadays that really surprise people. And I feel like it's because they've done something kind of different. Let's ask ourselves, what makes a shot unforgettable? Is it the lighting, the actor's performance, maybe the camera that they're using? I mean, we all know all of that matters, but sometimes it's simply where you put the camera. So today we're talking about unique angles, how they can make your film or content more compelling, and why you should maybe care. A unique angle is simply a camera position or perspective that often breaks the norm. It grabs attention because it is not the obvious choice. Instead of eye level, maybe you're shooting from the floor or behind an object, through a mirror, or even an overhead shot. Whatever it is, right? These angles create that sense of emotion or curiosity or even discomfort, which is perfect almost depending on the story that you're telling, right? So in today's video, we're breaking down the emotional language of camera angles, why they're one of the most underrated storytelling tools, and how you can start using them more intentionally in your content or even film. Angles equals emotions. Camera angles are like emotional cues, right? Think of them like a visual soundtrack. It's very subtle but powerful. When you change the angle, you're changing the emotional perspective of the viewer. They tell us something deeper about the character or the story. So, for example, low angles, it's like looking at the subject pointing up. That emotion is like power, authority, or dominance, or even intimidation. You can use this angle to make a character feel larger than life, or to exaggerate a sense of fear or awe. And lastly, maybe to even give a subtle power dynamic. So this angle is often used in like superhero films, right? Like the characters are often shot from below pointing up, but even in dramas, this angle can simply imply psychological control. Now, on the other hand, we have high angles. Now we're looking down at the subject, and this emotion portrays vulnerability, weakness, shame, insignificance, right? It can be used to show a character at their lowest, and to even emphasize maybe loneliness or isolation, or to make the audience feel above the subject morally or literally. But now we have the Dutch angle, right? Or a tilt. This emotion could make you feel unease, disoriented, or psychological like inability. And best times to use it is like moments of chaos, confusion, or mental tension, or even when a character is spiraling or the world to them feels off. So this angle is heavily used in thrillers or horror, or also works very subtly in drama when a character is having like a panic attack or a realization within their character journey. I know we're going through it pretty fast here, but now I want to give you some practical tips to level up your angles and for best practices for when you're out filming yourself, or even things that you want to maybe try out. As we're talking about unique angles, let me pause and put y'all on because I've gotten a lot of questions on where I get my music. Another thing that has always been core to my storytelling, whether it's for a short film, a commercial, or even my YouTube videos, is always sound or music. With world-class music and sound effects from Epidemic Sound, I can translate a feeling that's uniquely mine into something that resonates with you. I use Epidemic Sound as my go-to sound tracking platform. It gives me unlimited access to an immense, insane catalog of restriction-free music and sound effects. That's right, no copyright issues or no limits on where I can publish. Just listen to how different this scene feels without sound and music. Now, with it. You see how that changed how you felt? That's what music does. Sometimes I'll search by mood or even upload a reference track to get the vibe that I'm looking for. What's dope is that they've even got Premiere and DaVinci plugins so I can work without breaking my flow. And I'm searching it up under Central Sound Panel because they're connected. It's like they talk to each other. It's amazing. And if I want more control, I'll use stems so I can dial back the vocals and let the visuals breathe. Whether I'm crafting tension, warmth, nostalgia, or even chaos, music and sound on top of unique angles makes it real. And Epidemic Sound helps me shape that reality. Now that I put y'all on, make sure you click the link in the description below to soundtrack your videos right now. Use code lacapture because we're giving y'all 25% off the already discounted yearly plan. I'm not playing. Go check it out. Match the angle to the emotional beat, right? So before setting up your shot, ask yourself, how does this character or myself or whatever you're filming feel in this moment? And then ask, what is the best angle to make the audience feel that too? Don't just shoot coverage sometimes. Try to shoot with intention, right? So instead of defaulting to a wide, a medium, close-up, which are all good shots, but remember, we're talking about unique angles. Try to design each shot with a story in mind. Like, they don't have to be extreme, but maybe just honest. Use your environment. You really don't need to get fancy gear to get creative. Sometimes shoot through mirrors or windows, use foreground elements to frame the subject, or get low and shoot through furniture, grass, props. These techniques add texture and emotion to otherwise flat shots. Movement changes angle too, okay? Even with the slightest movements, like a chin or a handheld or something like that, or a pan, this can alter the emotional feel of an angle. So a static low angle may feel like the subject is in power. Let's try to change the movement here. So a slow push in low angle can show maybe growing intimidation or importance. Now a handheld low angle can make the audience feel chaos or instability. Same angle, different emotions just from how you move the camera or even keep it static. Flip expectations. Sometimes emotion is created by contrast. So do you want to create discomfort? Use a low angle in a moment of vulnerability. It'll feel off, which can be intentional and powerful. Let's talk about a few tips when framing your unique angles, right? And I've said this before. 1, frame within a frame. Try to use doorways or windows and anything you could create to where it can create depth, isolation, or psychological tension. Because for that, sometimes it could also add like that trapped feeling for your character in your film or whatever it is that you may be filming. Symmetry, perfectly balanced shots on both sides. This is often used by directors like Wes Anderson or Stanley Kubrick. It feels unnatural and stylized or even controlled. It's great for like comedy, horror, or even moments of eerie calmness, you know? Leading lines, right? Like use roads, fences, hallways especially, shadows, or even beams of light to guide the viewer's eyes to your subject. This always helps create visual depth in your frame. This builds tension and it focuses or emphasizes a journey or direction that our character may be going through. Center framing, placing subject dead center in the frame, and sometimes even maybe playing around with the height of it, right? Like if it's a high straight angle and your character's low, like on the lower third of the frame, it could give a sense of awkwardness, right? Depending on the tone, because it could also be powerful or confrontational. So it kind of just depends on your intention of what you're trying to portray for a certain emotion within that scene. It's great for characters who feel maybe exposed, trapped, or even hyper-focused. Negative space. At first, when I first started a long time ago, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird why they're actually framing it in a negative, like why is it that there's no look room? In film school, it was all about look space. I never learned about like negative space or this and that. So I think it was really unique when I first saw it. I'm pretty sure movies in the past did it, but when I first recognized it, I was like, oh, they're intentionally leaving large empty space around or next to the subject, because that in itself could convey loneliness, anticipation, tension, or even silence. So this often works well for like dramatic pauses or internal struggle, right? Like that tension that character may be feeling. Dirty frame. This means that includes part of another character or object, like their shoulder, wall, or the edge of the table in the foreground. It's different than a over-the-shoulder shot. Maybe they're sitting next to each other and you're focused on one character, but camera's on this side, and then part of that person's face or body is in frame. So that's kind of like a dirty two shot. In this case, it adds like realism and intimacy or even tension, especially in conversations or arguments. Deep space. This is something that may be new to a lot of people, but it's like foreground interest, right? Like placing layers of visual interest in the foreground, the midground, and the background. This makes the shot feel more immersive and cinematic. It also keeps the eye moving and adds storytelling details. Broken symmetry or visual discomfort. Playing around with all angles, right? I think this is the point of finding unique angles and breaking the norm of how things should be shot while having intention behind what it is that you're filming and what the character may be feeling. Visual discomfort intentionally breaks the visual balance to make a moment feel off. And this could be used for like horror or feeling unease or even a psychological conflict within the character's head. Something like that, like a slight tilt, uneven composition, or even a subtle obstruction can go a long way. This is pretty similar-ish, depending on how you see it, to a Dutch tilt angle. Now, you're probably asking why any of this even matters. I was thinking about it and I was like, well, we live in such a visual world where attention is currency, and people might not know why a shot feels impactful, but they'll feel it. This helps your audience connect with the characters in a way they don't even realize. Just like how music underlying the scene makes you feel some type of way when you may not even realize it. This will make your content or films feel more intentional. It'll set your work apart from the scroll of, the sameness of things that we see. And most importantly, they speak when words fall short. Like the angle, like your character doesn't even have to be saying anything in the frame. It could just be there still. You're feeling what the character is feeling by the way the DP frames up the shot. It's very powerful in the most subtle ways. When you shoot with emotional angles, you're no longer just showing the scene. You're basically telling the truth of what it feels like to be in it. You're putting the audience in the character's shoes. I think through my journey as a DP, I've been learning so much about angles and like the intention behind, oh, well, it's just gonna be a static shot because in that scene we're grounded, or it's gonna be a handheld shot because we want that subtle, natural shake that you get when you are handheld, because now you're feeling a little bit more chaos within the scene, or it's like a tracking running shot with handheld rather than on a Steadicam where it's smooth, because now there's a lot of built up tension. There's so many things that I've learned to be more intentional with how to frame up a shot, and why this character is framed up on an OTS versus this character framing up on a single shot. You know, there's so many things. It's like the intention of what the character should be feeling, and how us as filmmakers could make the audience feel what the character is feeling as well. I had fun with this one. I'm continuously, every single day, every project, I'm learning more and more. So as I'm learning, I'm letting y'all know, and I've just been super excited with my journey so far, and I really hope that you took something away from this video. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but I really hope that you go out and try any of these angles out, play around with your environment. I really hope that you are doing good and great. I'm excited. We're almost at 100K, y'all. Let's make it happen, Captain, right before the summertime. Thank you to each and every one of you. I appreciate y'all. Please remember, continue being great. Go out and create and have fun doing it. I'll see y'all at the next video. Peace.